In the midst of all this, the ex-Mossad chief made some interesting comments. Now, Mossad, of course, is the Israeli version of the CIA. This is in Haaretz. They say, ex-Mossad chief compares Israeli right to the KKK. Tamir Pardo said in a radio interview with Khan public broadcaster that many of the laws that the government is legislating are tantamount to anti-Semitic laws and would be labeled such were they passed in any other country. Wow. So basically what he's saying is, look, if the shoe was on the other foot, with the way that Israel treats Palestinians, if we were treated that way, we would say this is brazenly anti-Semitic. Wow. Okay. He says, or here's what they say in Haaretz. The former head of the Mossad, Tamir Pardo, said that horrible racist parties in Netanyahu's coalition are similar to the notorious American white supremacist Ku Klux Klan. In a scathing interview with Khan Public Broadcaster Radio on Thursday, Pardo slammed Netanyahu for taking the Ku Klux Klan and putting them into government. When asked if he was referring to the far-right ministers Itamar Ben-Gvir, Bezalel Smotrich, and Yitzhak Wasserlof, he responded, of course. You have some outright ultra-Orthodox settler colonialist parties in Israel. And these are people who Netanyahu has embraced with open arms. Super far-right, settler colonialist, ultra-Orthodox extremists. And this is who he's gotten in bed with. Wild. Now, by the way, there was something... Sinead O'Connor recently died, the famous singer, and there was something that was floating around Twitter about how there were death threats against her. I think she spoke out in favor of like Palestinian rights or something, and there were death threats against her. And the guy who led the campaign, led the charge, threatening her to the point where she had to cancel a concert in Israel. The person who proudly led that charge, this guy, Itamar Ben-Gvir. Crazy what gets you to go far in Israeli politics, isn't it? Be the most genocidal, be the most threatening, be the biggest maniac, and you get ahead. Worse than this, I don't want to go into examples from the 1930s, he said, pointing to Smotrich's comments that the Palestinian town of Ha'artsa should be, quote, wiped out. Wiped out. So the former head of Mossad is saying, the Israeli government, they're kind of acting like Nazis. Kind of acting like Nazis. I don't want to have to go into examples from the 1930s. But yeah, when you say let's wipe out an entire Palestinian town, let's bulldoze houses, let's kill civilians, as they do very often in Gaza, when they quote-unquote mow the grass. The northern West Bank town has been subjected to settler violence for several years. But this culminated in a settler riot in February this year that saw one Palestinian killed, dozens injured, and widespread damage to property. A settler riot. Pardo went on to say that many of the laws that the government is legislating are tantamount to anti-Semitic laws and would be labeled such were they passed in any other country. Quote, tomorrow morning they can't enter a club or a locality or can't buy a house in a certain area or have less rights. That is anti-Semitism for its own sake.